Hey HBs, you're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends read romance novels, break them down in detail, and are generally super spoilerific, all while cackling. Let's start off with a Patreon shout-out, shall we? Shantae G, you are an acolyte of Iris, Greek goddess of the rainbow and messenger for the gods. Just like Iris, your specialty is helping people get their messages out to the world, helping them curate their ideas to have the most impact. But lady, you do it with passion and pizzazz. You bring the full spectrum of verve to everything you do, because you can't help but be the personification of a rainbow. For many coastal-dwelling Greeks, the rainbows would appear to arc from the ocean up into the clouds, so they believed that Iris replenished the clouds with water. Just like her, you rejuvenate everyone you come in contact with because of your positivity and love. And I'm so excited because today's episode is sponsored by author and HB Sadira Stone. Her contemporary erotic romance, Through the Red Door, is available now. Here's the description. Clara Martelli clings to Book Nirvana, the Oregon bookshop she and her late husband Jared built together. When rising rents and corporate competition threaten its survival, her best hope is the extensive erotica collection, locked behind a red door. In Dreams and Signs, her dead husband tells her it's time to open the door and move on. When a dark and handsome stranger's powerful magnetism jolts her back to life, and he wants to look at the treasures of that secret room, she can't help but want to show him more. Professor Nick Papadopoulos is looking for historical erotica. Book Nirvana's collection surpasses his wildest dreams, and so does its lovely owner. A widower, he understands Clara's battle with guilt, but their searing chemistry is too strong to resist. Besides, he'll only be in town for 2 weeks, not long enough for her to see beyond the scandal that haunts his past. One reviewer said that Through the Red Door is a beautiful love story filled with wonderful characters. Another said the erotic scenes were off the charts, and still one more lauded how funny it is. So don't delay, because Book 2 is in the works. I'll post links in the episode notes so that you can get it immediately. And now, we've got part 2 of Ives of Silver, Eyes of Gold by Ellen O'Connell. I can't wait. Hi, Erin.
You know what I love? Is before we started doing our count-off, you were like, get serious, get serious, get serious. As if every one of these episodes doesn't start with you just like shrieking in laughter. You're like, serious face. Gotta like...
Professional in 2019.
Professional. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to
not the tone of this
into a different human.
What podcast are you cheating on me with? Got to do our political Middle East politics podcast.
That's
right
the
now.
One. Get serious. Oh man. Okay, how the hell are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really excited to talk to you.
I'm sick, actually.
Oh.
I'm actually not well, but that's okay. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just gives me a lot more time to record this podcast with you today.
Absolutely.
5-hour podcast.
Yeah,
Dr. Quinn times every plot point in this book. There are so many. We're going to talk about every fucking horse they had. They had 7 horses and all of them.
There is... There is Red, also called Firebrand. No,
there
we're not
is
doing
Keeper.
that.
There is
yeah.
Schmerger. There's one that's called like Stammy or Stevie. What's that one? Willie. There we go.
Sweet
Stevie.
William.
Yeah. Yep. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every horse has like a name and then like a slightly alternative name, which is not
because
all
he
right.
refuses to call the horse whatever ridiculous name she comes up with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had banter.
Oh yeah. Do you want to know what's happening to me lately?
What?
Here it is, guys.
It's gonna
the dark
be weird.
Side. It's the dark
It's gonna
side.
be weird, isn't it? I can tell by your face. It's gonna be like real weird.
Well, now when I shower, my hair comes out by the fistful.
Oh, welcome to the club, Melody. Tell me all about it.
Wait, what does that mean? It's a post-pregnancy
My hair's been falling
thing.
out by the fistful. Did you not know this?
I didn't know that. Have you been pregnant recently?
No.
Do you have a secret baby? Hold on. Do we have a secret baby trope happening on the podcast now? Because I, for one, will be pissed. You made the joke that you would go into the woods and nobody would know about it, but bitch.
No, you would have noticed. No, my therapist says it's my alarming levels of chronic stress. Why are you losing hair?
Yes, that job of yours.
Yes, the alarming levels of chronic stress. I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Did I tell you this?
Oh, no.
And they were, this has been a while ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, high blood pressure, a woman my age. I'm not, that overweight. I'm not, like these things that are usually indicators of high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Yeah.
They're like, you need to cut down on your red meat and dairy and stuff. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And so, I did 3 months. This has been a year ago. I did 3 months of no red meat, no dairy, no sugar, no, it was just vegetables and grains for this girl. And I came back in and they're like, your levels are the same. Are you continuing to eat terrible foods? And I was like, no, I haven't had nachos in so long.
Right. No, God damn it. I wish I was.
And then they were like, do you have a stressful job? And I was like, oh, fuck you guys. I've done 3 fucking months with no food.
And you could have asked me
that 3 months ago.
Stressful job.
Now I'm more stressed. Jerks.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so yeah, my hair is falling out all the time. My hairdresser's very upset about it.
No, and you cannot.
Whatever you need to do, stop doing it. And I'm like, I need condition.
That's not going to help.
I've been rubbing crystals on it. I talk to it every day.
I've been reading it bedtime stories. Oh, boy. No.
Anyway, so you were pregnant?
I was, yeah. I don't know when I'm going to stop talking about it. Probably never.
Never.
Well, because it keeps coming up. Because as my hormone levels recalibrate themselves, my hair has started falling out in the fistfuls. And it's a fairly common thing that happens. It happened with my last pregnancy. I think I'm going to do a big chopperoo so that it's less...
No, Melody.
I know. I think I'm going to do a big chop because 2 reasons. 3 reasons, actually. Here we go. Number 1.
All right.
Less weight so that hopefully the hair will fall out not as fast.
That's
or
not a
not
science.
At all. You know
That's
what?
not a science. You're not doing science right.
I never claimed to be a scientist.
Nope.
Number 2. Mermaid hair has started to feel a little bit more like Little House on the Prairie hair.
Love it, live it, live that life.
And
Love
number 3, I'm not starting. It's been a while that I have been getting actual headaches from putting my hair up, even in a low ponytail.
Oh my God.
Because it's so heavy.
Don't you dare. Don't talk to the woman who has to wear the tightest bun every fucking day. No. Disregard the third one because you're just a sissy. The first one, also not science.
Can't run.
The second one, Little House on the Prairie hair is the dream.
Except no, it's not.
Yes.
Because it just feels frumpy these days. I think I just need a change. I think I just need I need to not feel like stay-at-home mom with a greasy hair I can't even put up because it'll give me a headache, and more like a chic, lob, trendy lady who talks to people and is an adult and dances sometimes. That's what I would like to feel like.
Melody, it's still gonna be greasy. Unless you change your whole lifestyle.
How dare you?
Sorry. Don't write us emails about this because by the time you hear this, she will have made this decision and there's no way to stop her. We've tried to hold her back physically from getting bangs so many times, guys. The people who love Melody have tried so many times to stop her from bad haircuts, and there's nothing we can do.
Oi, I don't get bad haircuts. I am gorgeous, goddammit. No, the bangs. Yeah, the bangs are never a good idea. And I thought about it the other day, and then I remembered everybody. I had the group text queued up because I have 5 ladies who I'm always like, bangs, ? And they're all like, we cannot listen to you complain about the bangs.
I'm on this text.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is the plight of every basic woman in America, is just every 6 months being like, I'm unhappy. Bangs? And it's like, no, bitch, never.
No, because you're just going to add irritation to unhappiness. It's just not good.
Are you Zooey Deschanel? Then no. That's always the answer.
It's true.
Let me tell you what I'm doing in my life.
What's up?
Do you see what I have right here?
Oh, guys.
It's the Chris Pine candle.
No! Ah!
Do you know how I know it's the Chris Pine candle?
Evans candle. Guys, it is Yankee Candle Mountain Lodge, and it is the official cult Chris Evans candle, and you cannot reappropriate it, you pine nut.
I don't even know when it became the Chris Evans candle.
It doesn't matter.
Trace the origin? All right,
I think it might have been Crystal.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Somebody posted the meme about the Mountain Lodge Yankee Candle. Google it up. It's an old meme, but it's a good meme. And then all the HBs bought the Mountain Lodge candle, and then they all posted testimonial videos about smelling it on the geriatric friendship cult.
They are just goddamn magical. I expect a video from you, madam.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But all of these videos are hysterical, and they're all like talking about how they can smell Chris Evans. And I don't know when it became a Chris Evans candle. I don't know who.
That's just natural. Number one, Chris
named it. It's got a fucking pine tree on the front, Melody.
And have you seen Chris Evans breaking up? He chopping wood with his bare fucking hands, and then his pecs do a dance. Oh, that's when it became the Chris Evans candle. I might have just lifted my boobs with my hands to make my pecs dance, because that's the only way they'll dance.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have we bantered enough for these people, do you think?
I think so.
Jesus Christ, you and your banter.
As if it's some kind of hardship. You should see the look on her face.
We have said wildly offensive things on this podcast. I've listened back and I've said, oof, that is straight wrong.
Oh,
it wasn't President Obama that touched the orb. It was President Trump that touched the orb. Of course it was. Yes.
Oh my God, you're right.
Of course it was.
Listen, he just doesn't exist to me. I just always Photoshop in Obama in my brain. I don't.
Well, my thought was, it was a dumb thing to get mad over. It was something another leader requested the president do, and he did it, out of deference to like whatever leader, Saudi Arabia, I think. So my thought was, it was a dumb thing to get mad over, and it's something the president did because it was, to not offend another leader. In my mind, that's President Obama, not President Trump. Like, when we got mad over a dumb thing, that makes me think of President Obama. So anyway.
It wasn't because the president had actual respectful feelings over the Saudi Arabian leader and stuff. BFF. Wait, what?
Anyways, so what I'm trying to say here is I've said things that are like blatantly wrong and offensive on this podcast before that I've listened back and be like, ooh, Aaron, you're not doing well at the talking.
And never did you hear the uproar?
Never. I have never in my life gotten a backlash, personally, professionally, or podcastily, that I got when I came out hard against banter. They were so mad. In fact, Cat C, Cat C, yes, Cat C smelled a candle and was like, it smells like banter. And I was like, God damn it, Cat C. I watched that video 7,000 times.
I mean, at the minimum.
Yeah.
And then Jackie did the same thing. She was just like, hey, by the way, don't fuck with my banter. It was great.
Oh, yeah. That was like the end of her video was like, bring banter back, you assholes. They got vulgar.
I was into it.
Oh, man. Yeah, lots of posts, lots of tweets, lots of emails. Banter, 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 banter.
Yeah, we need
the
banter, they said.
11 minutes and 20 seconds of
banter. Stop timestamping. It's hard to
love
edit.
It.
No,
I love it. It fucks you up so bad.
It does. When I'm editing, I'm like, no, I'm only 35 minutes in, not 38 minutes in, because I cut 3 minutes. And
do you really think they're looking at the time and they're like,
do.
Those bitches are wrong? Yeah, you're right. They're all Ravenclaws.
Yeah, they are. Okay. All right, Aaron.
All right.
So, do you want to hear my strategy for this week?
Yes, it's 11 minutes and 51 seconds in, and I would love to hear that strategy.
Fucking podcast over. No.
We're done. Melody just quit, you guys. She ripped off her headphones. She walked out of the room.
Okay.
It's just me now.
Aaron, recapping the book. So.
There was a horse.
There was some sex.
The brothers was mean.
Yeah. Frank and Elphaba were mean to Cord.
Ephraim. Is that right?
No, it's Ephraim.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, here we go. My strategy for this week was don't reread the book, because that's usually what I do. My strategy was to re-herbs the book, because we have a metric fuck ton of book to get through, and it's better that I forget some details.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing.
I honestly am sitting here. I read this 2 weeks ago, and I never read it again, and I feel like I'm about to hear a story that I've never heard before.
Oh, no. Well, I'm getting out my notes, so
I'll remember it. Remember it as you go. Where did we leave off?
We left off at Christmas. They were having a beautiful...
Oh, I loved the Christmas.
It was so romantic.
Yeah.
It was so romantic. Okay, so they're starting to get to know each other now. It is winter on the farm, so when they are not doing chores, when they're not doing necessary chores, they are inside working or chatting, but they're always together.
No TV. No Netflix.
My God.
No podcast.
Where are
Nothing
their iPads?
To do but stare at each other.
Gold eyes to silver eyes.
Yeah.
Deep into each other's eyes.
Oh, yeah, that's what the title's about. He's got gold eyes. She's got silver eyes.
Yep. Yeah, it
took me most of the book.
Me too. It took me until 3/4 of the way through.
Their eyeballs looking at each other. Those are the eyeballs in the title. Good job, Aaron.
Good job, Melody. So, all right. So as they begin talking more, they start to hear about each other's pasts. Anne tells him her story. It's all about going to Chicago because her dad got angry and sent her away. She was engaged to this banker dude, not super important. But what is the most important thing about that story is that she actually broke it off because at one point she corrected one of his friends and he was like, you will never do that again. Even if my friends are wrong, you will sit and be a ladylike lady who sits quietly.
Yeah. And then he wouldn't allow her to go to college anymore.
Oh, so that dick.
Because he thought she was getting too smart or whatever.
Yeah. She was having too many thoughts of her own.
Yeah. And then also what's important about that story is she was engaged for however many
4 years.
And didn't have sex with him.
Nary a smooch, even.
They've had the virgin conversation, right?
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because they had that terrible sex. Ugh.
Yeah, because he's pissed that she didn't tell him that she was a virgin. And she's like, of course I'm a virgin. I've never been married before. He's like, you're engaged to that guy for 5 years. What the hell were you doing up there? And she's like, being a lady.
Engaged.
What else would I be doing? Engaged. And he's like, yeah, well, probably not a good one then,
Yeah, he's like, that cold-blooded dude.
Yeah.
So she broke it off. Everybody was super pissed. Everybody tried to get her to get back with him. And she was like, no.
Yeah, because he was a rich man, respectable type. Dad was very happy with that match.
Yeah. And so instead, her dad came back down, scooped her up, and took her back to Colorado where he could abuse her in his house. Thank you.
Yeah, he probably literally scooped her up. It was probably a literal scoop.
Maybe, yeah. Although he seems a bit
the skirt. But the physical carrying of a person.
Not the Scandinavian skirt, everyone, that puts down on your butt.
Not a scoop, but a scoop. We just lost our 2 Swedish listeners.
We did. Yeah. We love you. Come back. Okay. So then Cord tells his story. It is a bit more fraught. So the reason that everybody thinks that he punches until people can't punch anymore is because it's sort of true. Yeah, punch. Cannot stop. It's because when he and his little sister were younger, they went to this town dance, and she went to go around the building or something.
Yes, because he said that if she walked across the middle of the dance floor, there was going to be a riot because she,
because she's Hapa,
shouldn't have been there in the first place, and so he didn't want to. So she was going to walk around the building outside to cross the room, which is already insane.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Poor things. So he's like, my little sister has been gone for too long. So he goes out to investigate and finds her, poor thing, in the bushes underneath a juvenile rapist.
Mm-hmm.
And he is just about to make it happen.
And then he gets to punching.
Oh, boy.
When Cord gets to punching, he doesn't stop punching.
Well, I would also see red.
Yeah,
in
I agree.
that
I get.
scenario.
He's got reasons.
He's got
when Cord gets to
reasons.
punching, he's got reasons.
That's right.
But he don't ever stop those punches until it's done punching time. It's never done punching time until
they are a puddle on the ground.
Yes.
A literal puddle. No
Alex
more
Mack.
bones. So somebody, thankfully, I think the sheriff or something, like pulls him off, and he spends a couple of days in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And the sheriff has this talk with him where he's like, "Hey, Cord, you are Hapa. You cannot act
That's not the word the sheriff uses.
That is not what he said. No, I am
probably
using...
says something. There's a lot of words in this book, but what he probably says is like, you're a half-blood Injun or something like that, because that's usually what this book is saying.
So...
I saw your face, but I want them to know.
I know.
It's not like they're like, listen, Cord, you're a mixed race individual. That's not how it's ever said.
No.
Which I wouldn't like the book as much as if it was. Because it wouldn't be accurate to the times. It wouldn't be as biting every time. But.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt you down to your soul.
Yeah.
But no, I'm using the term that is endearing in Hawaii for half Asian, half Caucasian babies, because it's such a... Like, there are many of them, and so people know that you're Hapa. And then if you are Hapa, who then has a baby with another, I think, white person or another Asian person, you're Quapa, because you're a quarter.
Oh, I've never heard the word Quapa before.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard Hapa. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's a generational thing. Anyway, so
we're using nice words so as not to hurt your ears, but just so you know, if you're going to read this book, you're going to see a lot of words over and over again. All right. Yep. Okay.
So he's like, hey, you're Hapa. You need to be extra, extra careful, because the white people around here will use any excuse necessary to murder you in the face, usually via hanging.
Cord fucking knows that. He knows that. Duh.
No, but he didn't. Like, his family, I think, had always kept him pretty sheltered. And even though they had their own brand of abuse regarding his mixed heritage, they didn't, I don't think they ever treated him like super differently, to the point that he didn't think he could navigate the world in the same way. You know, like, he says that he came to a realization, and he and the sheriff later on have another conversation where he's like, you're fucking scary, and I thought that you basically had a target on my back because I was so straight with you forever ago. And he was like, no, Sheriff, I really appreciated that conversation. It actually helped me not get murdered in the face a few times. So then, after a while, because he and his sister grow apart, she was never the same after that assault. I think she was like 13 at the time. Like, it's terrifying, no matter your age. But she very keenly felt her heritage at that point, because they weren't going to do anything to this white guy who assaulted her.
Right.
And so she was like, she spent the rest of her life basically being like, I can pass for white. I'm going to get the fuck out of here and pass for white and not ever deal with this again.
She had much lighter skin than Cord did.
Yeah. So they sort of grow apart, and then at one point, Cord just sort of fucks off. He's like, I heard that this guy, the guy who assaulted his sister, he got arrested in another state. And so he was like, I'm going to go watch the execution.
Yep.
And then he was gone for about 5 years because he just didn't come back.
It's very Legends of the Fall. So, like, Cord goes off, grows his hair long, starts wearing those moccasins, goes down to, like, he goes and, like, watches that dude get executed, freaks the shit out of him because the guy's like, what? That guy's here?
Yeah.
And then goes down to, like, Mexico times.
Well, he goes down to, like the U.S. border with Mexico,
I don't know at that time, like, it was very, like, Zorro times, so I'm not really sure, like, where... Like, that would have been... Where was California and where was Mexico? Sorry. I love the Antonio Banderas Zorro. I don't care who it offends. I'm sorry. I love it. And I love how throughout the movie it says California like that. But anyway, so he was down there for a while doing horse stuff.
Yeah, he was learning how to train horses.
And he had, like, a girlfriend he didn't really like named Rosa.
You know, it wasn't that he didn't like her. It was that he couldn't talk to her.
He couldn't talk to her, but she was just kind of like a there.
She was a placeholder.
Yeah.
And she thought she was pregnant for a minute, and he was like, oh, fuck. And then when she...
I think she was pregnant for a minute. Didn't she miscarry?
Yeah, she had a miscarriage. And he was like, oh,
shit.
I better get out of here while I can.
Yeah.
And, she got married and had a nice life after. It was great. And he came back up to Colorado, which is where he's been. So that is sort of his story. So they share all of that. And then Anne starts having some realizations. She starts to I don't know, she's always liked the ranch life or whatever, but then she has her period, and then she gets up and goes to rock in the rocking chair because the movement helps her. And this is where we get the scene where he comes out because she doesn't want to wake him up, but he comes out and he's like, hey, what's going on? And he is super naked.
Oh, he's real
looking
naked.
like a cougar.
He's got all the muscles in the moonlight.
Oh, yeah. And the tan skin with the lithe movements.
She talks about his chest hair and the hair under his belly button. Is that not this one?
Does he have chest hair? No, I don't think he has chest hair.
He has a light chest hair. Yes, she definitely talks about his happy trail in the scene. I remember it
happy
vividly.
Trail, sure.
Yes, but I think she can see chest stuff.
Yeah.
And happy trail sort of stuff.
Right.
She's about it.
Yeah. And so he comes over and he crouches in front of her, just dick and balls right there. Sorry, everybody. And he's like, what can I do for you? What's going on? And she tells him that she has cramps. So he makes her a tea that his mama used to brew up because it was a pain reliever. And then he's like, come back to bed. And he's like, why are you holding your stomach? And she goes, well, because it helps with the pain, because it's hot. And so he pulls her right up against him and puts his hands over her tummy, and they go back to sleep. But before that, she has this realization where she's like, oh man, just watching him move around the cabin naked is real nice. I really like it.
Love
he
it.
Is hot. I am into it. And maybe that's why I feel like he keeps trying to get glimpses of me. Maybe it's not a perverted thing.
Yeah, so sometimes when she's taking off her clothes and stuff, he's looking at her and she's like, what a gross man.
Yeah.
He's looking at me. And then she's like, well, it's not gross when I want to look at him.
Yeah. So she starts being like, I could never undress in front of him knowingly because that is not proper. And the whole thing has been about her propriety. She comes from a background, we told you this last time, where a women's pleasure should not be a thing, period.
Right.
The end.
Yes, it's shameful.
Very shameful. And so she's like, maybe I won't undress in front of him, but maybe I won't dress quite as hastily as I did before. Maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
It's really cute. Okay, so then they realize that it's mid-ish winter and they are getting to the end of his savings. That 200 bones that he had, he was going to give her 150 of. They have now run through it.
They need to sell a horse.
Yeah, they do. And so while Cord is gone one day, up in a pasture somewhere, I'm sure, this dude comes by and talks to Anne about mayhaps buying a horse for his daughter.
He's like, why? I see that horse out there. I was just passing by. I'm just a wandering traveler. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's Dr. Quinn times. I was just riding by and I saw a mighty fine horse out in the pasture.
Boy. That's not how it went.
That is how it works. Gosh.
So anyway, he had just been out at that breeder that fucked Cord over. And he was like, yeah, so I thought about buying horses from him.
The one that sold him the colt that was dying. Okay.
The one who
I just wanted to remind him who it was. The one that tried to murder that colt to spite Cord. Yeah.
What a fucker.
Yeah.
Ugh. Leave the animals out of it. All right, everybody?
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I wasn't super impressed, though, when he basically bragged about fucking over your husband. So I thought maybe I'd come out here and see if you guys have any nice horses.
She was like, oh, boy, do we have nice horses.
We have
got
so many nice
horses. We got big horses. We got young
broke
ones.
Horses.
We got old ones. We got polka dot ones. We got brown ones. I know a lot about horses.
Yes, you do, Aaron. So, anyway, so Cord comes back.
Short ones. Stupid. Can you imagine if that's what she said?
Yeah, right? Anyway. I don't think he would have been as impressed. So Cord comes back and they all chat, and he's like, okay, I have to go back to Missouri way or something on the train.
Come on. I got to be back in Missouri. I mean, come on. Yeah. That's what happened. I'm a traveling man. That's 100% how this guy sounded.
No. So he's like, I will give you monies for a horse for my daughter as long as it's lady broke.
Yeah.
And if you have another one that's real pretty, I'll take that one too. And I'll give you this much monies for it.
And it's way too much monies.
Cord is like, oh my God, that's like twice what anybody would ever pay me because I'm Hapa. Like everybody always tries to fuck with me.
Yeah.
So they spend 3 days like making sure that these horses will get on the train. Because the contingency is if they don't get on the train, the horses aren't sold.
But also... Yeah. He came to the ranch. This is important because it's like, it's Annie's personality. He came to the ranch, talked to Annie, and she said something like, you know, you maybe want to come back when Cord's back in from the pasture, or like he had to go to town for something. Like, I don't remember why he was going to leave and come back.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to talk it over with somebody. I don't know. He was going to leave and come back. And then Cord comes home and Annie's like, this magical traveling man came by and he's going to give us all the money for 2 horses. We just got to lady break them. And it's going to be the best. And Cord's like, oh, you sweet summer child, Annie. I know. Like,
as soon as he meets me.
Never coming back.
Right.
And he's like, once he figures out that what I look like and that I'm mixed race, he's never coming back here. Yeah. And she's like, yes, he is. I'm an optimist. And this is like a constant thing throughout the thing. It's like, Cord's always like, it's never going to work. This is how my whole life has been. And Annie's like, we're going to make it work.
I see the world through my privilege.
Exactly. That is accurate. Yeah. There are so many horses that are like going to die. And Annie's like, I'm going to make them live through petting and singing and giving them sugar cubes and snuggles. And Cord's like, you're the worst. And she's always like, the horse lived.
Yep. So they do it. They train up the horses. They do all manner of trainings on
and only because
ramps.
Annie makes him.
Yeah.
And then the guy does come back.
Yeah. Well, and they do the training after Cord actually talks to him. This is when he finds out that, you know,
but
they
like
go to
they got the horses ready for him to come back. And Cord didn't even want to do that. Like, she was going to brush him.
Yeah, she was like brushing him, doing all the things.
And he's like, you're just getting your hopes up. And then he does come back. So
yeah. So then they go to town. They bring all the horses to town. And the crowd is gathering because anytime Cord is going to do something, a crowd gathers hoping he fails.
Yes.
And they do it. And they do this cute sleight of hand thing where they write 3 different bills out, like bills of sale, and hide them in different pockets just in case any variation of either both are sold or one is sold or the other is sold. It's really cute.
They have to get them on the train. So they do a bunch of like trainings for getting them on the train. Yeah. And then they get on the train.
They do. They just walk right up because they spent so much time preparing because they're so good at teamwork, these two. They're so good at teamwork. They're such partnership, Aaron.
They really are a good partnership.
Yeah. So, okay, so they sell and then they're like, how about we go to the diner and have a steak for a celebration?
They're always getting steaks at the one place to eat.
They are.
Yep.
They
love
are.
it.
Yep. That's the one. And he's like, Martha and Elphaba, my green-skinned brother, would you please? Do you want to come to the diner with us?
Elphaba, my green-skinned brother.
Yeah, he's also a lawyer, so I don't know if his green skin really matters that much. Aaron.
Is he the lawyer? I thought the other one was the lawyer.
No, he's the lawyer.
No, he's the lawyer. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so then Rob shows up.
Rob is Annie's brother, and he's the worst.
Yeah, he's just so bad. And he's bad because he's like, he just thinks that the sun and moon sets with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So she tells everyone that they're actually legally married. Mm-hmm. And Rob flips the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And he says, you can't mean it. Like, I can't believe you did this. You could have walked away, blah, blah, blah. And this is one of my favorite lines in the book. It's maybe something I'm going to say for the rest of my life.
Yes.
She goes, I meant it, and that's all that counts. Make up your mind. You can't be furious because I'm a shameless hussy living in sin, and furious because I'm a respectable married woman too. Pick a mad.
Pick a mad.
Pick a mad, everybody.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, and then after Rob storms off, this is where they find out that there are nutty rumors about them going throughout town.
He's like got her tied up in the basement and like he's like she's cellar. Basically like his sex slave out there at the place.
And then she's so docile when they come to town because she's scared. Not because she's totally excited to get tied up in his
it's like
Stockholm
again. Syndrome. Yeah.
Right.
He's got her hypnotized with his Indian ways. Like, there's a lot of, like, quote-unquote Indian magic talk that's extremely offensive. Yeah. But it's meant to be offensive. The thing about reading this book is, like, the people who use all these racist terms and stuff are the villains. Like, there's no one who you're supposed to like that talks like this.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
There is one guy, when they walk up to the train, the guy who runs the stables, is a friend of Cord's, and so he sarcastically, jokingly says, "Are you going to show us some of your Indian magic?" But that's because it's a joke between the two of them, because everyone is terrible.
This book didn't offend me at all because it was the bad guys using the language. You know what I mean? So if that matters to you at all. But yeah, there's a lot of talk of like what he's done to her, and a lot of it is very racist. It's like
real bad
how he's like hypnotized her.
So Sheriff Noah's like, I bet if you started coming to church, it might assuage people.
Sheriff Noah.
I know. That
full of shitty ideas always. he means well.
He does. He's one of those well-meaning types.
Yeah.
So anyway, they suggest that, and then they leave. And then Sheriff Noah has dinner with the Bennetts and everybody because Ephraim is sitting there at the diner, and he's like, I don't understand their dynamic at all. Like, I don't understand why she's apparently attached to him. I don't know why she won't take him out. And Sheriff Noah's like, what do you know about what happened out there? And
Elphaba's like, nothing. I just decided what happened out there, and it was that my brother like attacked a defenseless lady. Why? Should I have asked him or something? Like,
what benefit of the doubt?
These brothers.
Oh, they are.
Elphaba and Fiyero are just the worst.
They're so bad.
They just decide things about their brother, and it's always the worst thing.
It is.
And it's kind of based on history, but it's also just based on their assholes.
And they're a little racist, too.
They're super racist. And they don't care about, like, facts.
No.
Like, they kind of come around by the end, but, like, by the end, like, the last 3 pages or so, they're like, maybe he's not a monster.
Right.
But maybe he is. Like, it's just like, wow, guys, how much evidence do you want?
I know. He has a fun talk with his sister-in-law because his sister-in-law has actually come around first. And one of them is terrified of him. One of them is like, I don't want to be near that devil monster. Like, she's so bad. She won't let him around her baby child, like, before he fucks off.
Okay. I'm a little bit of an apologist for this lady, though, because all she knows about him is what her husband and her brother-in-law have told her. And all they've told her is he's a monster who can't control himself.
Stop punching.
And once he starts to punch him, he ain't never gonna stop punching. So she's like, well, gosh, what if he, like, spanks my child and then just goes into one of these rages and never stops? Like, I can kind of understand where she's at.
Yeah. I know. It still is sad.
It's very sad, but I don't think it's her fault.
Yeah. So Sheriff Noah has dinner with all of them, including her brother and her mom. And he tells them everything that he knows about Cord's injuries, about like the way that it went down, about her face, because her face was all fucked up from when her dad...
yeah. So they all assumed that was Cord.
Yeah. So then Rob, her brother, absolutely refuses to believe it. And then Leona, her mom, is like, I can't believe that my daughter would even go into a man's house. And this is where one of the Bennett brothers is like, hey, so talk to me about how much food she had consumed in the days prior to her running away. And Leona's like, I went along with
to help my daughter who was starving to death.
Oh, so bad. Okay, so then they start attending church. But not before she tries to put on a corset, and Cord's like, me no like corset, cut up corset.
Once Cord gets to cutting, I felt like this was a little rough. She wanted to wear her corset. Cord didn't like it because it made her look like one of those ladies in town, and it made her body not look like her body, and he likes how her body looks.
Right. I didn't know how to feel about it because it was on the one hand very empowering, and on the other hand, like, but she wants to wear that question mark?
Wear that corset, and then he took it, and then they didn't end up going to church that day because they got in such a fight over the corset. And then she found him with like a scissors or a knife or something, just like cutting her corset into little pieces frustratedly in the bedroom, which was like kind of cute, but kind of like, that's my corset, you asshole.
Dude, you're destroying my property. I don't know how to feel about it. But yeah. I know. I will say that if I ever caught Michael cutting up a pair of my Spanx, there would be hell to pay.
Spanx is expensive.
They are so expensive.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Gosh, I tried on my wedding dress yesterday at the place.
Yeah.
At the lady who's doing the sewing.
Yep.
Her name is Aggie.
She doesn't have a phone or any type of way to contact her.
Yeah, if you live in Alaska and you need some sewing done, Aggie lives out in Wasilla. She's got a little sewing shop and a trailer out there, and she is the best. Mm-hmm. So plug for Aggie. She's hard to find, but once you
Never
find her...
Never going to hear it.
Yeah, once you find her. But anyway, I can't wear any Spanx with my dress, and I mentioned it to Aggie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's no way. There's a clue, guys, on which dress I chose. No Spanx available. And I said to Aggie, I can't wear any Spanx with it. And she was like, you don't want to have Spanx on your wedding day? And I was like, yes, I do. Like, what do you mean you don't want to have Spanx on your wedding day? She's like, no, you want to be comfortable. And I'm like, no,
aww.
I want to be... I want my body to make the noise
all day.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was. She was like, "No," and I was like, "Yes," but it's an impossibility. Anyway, Spanx, love them, expensive. Don't cut them up.
Don't you dare touch my Spanx.
Don't touch my Spanx.
So okay, the next week she's like, I don't think that we should have Keeper, which is the horse that he rides, like on the buggy. We need a buggy horse. And he's like, a buggy horse,
I did not understand this concept. I was with Cord on this one. She wants a pretty horse to pull her buggy.
Yeah, it's a smaller horse that is specifically trained for the buggy. It's pretty, it's stylish. It does all the things.
Ridiculous, though. Don't you want a big horse to pull your buggy because it's heavier than just a person?
Mm-mm. Well, sure. Yeah, but they're not carrying the weight. So it's not like that. And they're not hauling anything. It's not like a trailer full of hay or something like that. It's just two people. So a buggy horse can actually be smaller and more compact. It also makes maneuvering around while they're not in a city.
What is a buggy?
A buggy is the tiny thing. It's just like a tiny wagon.
Just the seats?
It's just the two-seater. Yes, it's not a carriage.
I was imagining like the big wagon thing.
No.
Like the George Costanza wagon.
That's not the one.
What is that called?
I don't know.
Constant, like the
I don't know,
Oregon
but you should
Trail.
keep trying.
God damn it. But I was imagining like a big carriage.
The Constantinople Wagon.
A Constantinople Wagon.
I don't think that's right.
Don't email us. I'm Googling it right now. God fucking...
Calistoga wagon. I got it.
It's like a...
No, it's a Calistoga wagon.
No, that's wrong.
You look it up. No, you look it up. We're going to fight. I'm fighting. This is the hill I will die on. I am smart.
Wait, say your word again.
Calistoga.
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 Nope. No! Conestoga.
Conestoga. God bless America.
I knew it started with con. I was like, Constantinople.
All right, well, now that we've spent...
They were also called prairie schooners, which is very similar to... What did you say that my costume was a couple years ago for Halloween?
Captain Barry Schooner.
Barry Schooner. Yeah. Not
okay. All right, we have to get back on track.
No, we don't. They love it. Let's not even talk about romance novels. You want to talk true crime? I have some things to talk to you about. Man.
Okay, so...
Did you see? I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, my God.
No, because we're only 42 minutes in and 42 seconds.
God damn it.
No, I just wanted to say that on the Facebook group, I said something like, hey, guys, like sarcastically, like, would it be cool if we stopped talking about romance novels and just talked about the Natalie Wood murder? Because that's all I ever want to talk about with anyone. And like 100 people were like, yes. It's like, you guys would listen to this podcast if just one day we were like, you know what? We've decided to stop talking about romance novels, and we get like a whole new haunting theme song, like about Natalie Wood and how she was murdered by
Aaron's
those
a composer.
2 guys. Yeah. Anyway, so they're on board if we want to just switch one day
That's
to
the
talk
Christopher
about
Walken murder.
Yeah,
that's what you were talking about.
Yeah,
There we go.
There we go.
It all clicks into place. Sorry.
Yeah. Our podcast about it's going to be very informed, guys.
Okay.
Oof.
All right. So they choose a buggy horse and they get it all done. And then while they're at church, right after church, they sell the buggy horse. Yeah. And this is where two things this has now happened twice, because I forgot to say at the diner, after they made that sale for the horses, Ephraim was like, oh man, like I can't believe you got such a good price. I'm so excited that you sold it. And Cord is like, I didn't sell it. Annie did. She did it all. She's the brains behind all this. Yeah. And Anne is sitting there going like, oh my gosh, like I come from a world where even if it's the woman's accomplishment, the fuckhead husband, will take credit for it. And so she's like, I am feeling excellent. Yeah. And then the same thing happens here. This couple comes up to Cord and they're like, this buggy horse reminds us of a buggy horse of yore. And she's like, well, it's for sale. And like, she makes it happen and it's done. And so he's always giving her credit, and she just feels so competent and empowered and lovely. And these trips to town also afford her the opportunity to visit with her mom and her brother. Although really it's just her mom that she kind of wants to talk to. Yeah. Listen, she has put out of her brain that her mom helped starve her for a month. Right. She just decided to turn the page on that one. Yeah. Like, we're not talking about it anymore. Okay. Yes. So then they have an incident out at the house. Do you remember their first fight, Aaron? They have a first fight. I'll tell you all about it.
I don't remember what it was about, but you're going to tell me and it's going to make me remember.
I am. So she wants to plant a garden.
Oh, and she God, this fight. This is so stupid.
About the garden.
Oh my God.
So she buys her seeds. She's getting stuff together. She gets a shovel. And she heads out to the plot.
But here's the thing. She's like sitting one day sipping her coffee or whatever. And she's like, look at that there plot of land. And Cord's like, make a mighty nice plot of land for a garden. It's like he's the one that says he's part of the garden. Yes.
Well, no, they at least have a talk about it. My understanding was she was like, hey, garden ? And he was like, cool. But it doesn't matter.
She's like, but he is part of the conversation where it's like that their plot of land would be great for a garden.
He's like, 100%. Green light on garden.
Yes. But then when she starts doing it, then he's like, fuck you, garden. Like,
that's not what he does. That's what she thinks he does.
And he points at it and he says, fuck you, garden.
That is a misrepresentation.
Not at all what it is. No.
So she goes out there with a shovel and she's like gonna till the whole, I don't fucking know, like acre of this garden because they've got a gazillion Colorado acres. Yeah. And so she is, which is different.
Yeah, Colorado acre is kind of like a California king. It's just a little bit bigger, a little longer. It is wilder, though. It is rougher.
Oh, it is. It's ruggeder.
Anyway, she's got her shovel.
Okay.
She's got her carrot seeds. She's ready to go.
Oh, yeah. And he's even like, buy extra carrot seeds so that we can stop giving the horses all of our sugar. And she's like, right. No more carrots.
No more giving them sugar. I'm going to give them all the sugar.
So he goes out there and he's like, he takes her shovel and he's like, hey, you're not doing this. And she's like, okay, fine. Then you do it. It's got to get did either way. So like, why don't you do it? And he's like, I'm not doing it either. Yeah. And so she's just like, damnation. And she throws her bonnet or something, and she trudges back to the house, and she's just like, this motherfucker.
God, I wish you guys could see this act that Melody's doing. Okay, keep going.
I'm so mad. Yeah. And She's like, he gave me the green light. I bought all these fucking carrots. What am I going to do with all these seeds? Burr, 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 burr. Then he's just like, oh no, I believe that something is amiss. I didn't mean nobody should do the garden. I just meant that we should not do it by hand.
Yeah.
But he refuses to say anything.
He's like, God, I can't talk to her now because she's mad. Like, I don't know what to do. This is the first hero that, like, just cannot make simple words to solve a problem that I believed. It really does feel like his brain locks up in a way where he just doesn't know what to do. And so he just moves on to the next task.
Yeah,
because
he's just like, well, I guess I should train that horse. Maybe she'll get over it.
Throughout this thing, he could explain many situations to his brothers that would make them not think that he's a monster murderer. And he's just like, well, they're just going to think what they wants to think. And I'm like, no.
No. So, this is the best. So then Fierro shows up. Frank shows up.
He's coming.
And they, like, sit down to a something, and she's just like, motherfucker, like, why did he have to show up during our first spat? Like, I hate this guy. He always thinks the worst of Cord. It's so bad. And so he completely misreads the situation, and he once again offers to, like, give her an escape hatch.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, if you're unhappy, we can go away. And she flips on him again. Yeah. It's the best. I actually copied and pasted the whole diatribe.
Oh, good, because I really like this.
Okay, so she goes, don't you say it. So help me if you say it. I won't just run you out of the house. I'll shoot you. We're having a quarrel, and it's none of your business. Don't you tell me in over 20 years of marriage, you and Judith never had a marital quarrel. I'm so angry, I'd like to beat him worse than Meeks did. I'd like to shoot him so full of holes that he could be a sieve. I'd like to cut off his head and bury it somewhere far away from his body, but I'll get over it. We'll work it out and life will go on. And in the meantime, it's none of your business. And then it says, Frank actually looked shaken. And then after she storms off, he goes, does she get like that often? And Cord goes, nope, you seem to rile her. Very few women had ever disconcerted his brother. Under the circumstances, Cord would enjoy the sight. I rile her? She wants to kill you, dismember you, and disperse your body parts. And I rile her? Cord goes, you rub her the wrong way. So, anyway, when he finally has time, he grabs a horse, and he grabs his plow, and he plows the whole thing for her, the whole garden. So then she comes out, like, at the tail end of him doing this. She's like, oh, man. You tried to explain, and I just jumped to the worst possible conclusion about you, just like your brothers.
Explain.
I know, but she feels... She feels terrible.
Yeah.
And so she apologizes for assuming the worst about him, and it's the best.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, her mustache twirling dad comes back into the picture.
Good. Yeah.
Oh, boy. They go back into town for a Sunday at church. And so she's talking to her mom, and all of a sudden, Cord is away, and he hears like a squeal and something else, and he sees that some giant dude is making off with his wife.
Yeah, she's been lady napped.
She has been lady napped. That's the one.
Good job, Sheriff, telling him to go to church. Now she's been kidnapped by her devious dad.
Yeah, Noah, did you see that coming?
Yeah,
Sheriff
see that coming, Sheriff? God damn it.
You with the ideas
also,
over
it's
there.
It's worthy to note here that Cord is wearing his beautiful suit. The cream shirt that she made for him with the brown tailored, very tailored. He's very much an upside down triangle on top, and it's very tailored to all his muscles. Looks great.
Delish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not for long, because Cord steps in. And he gets to punching, guys. Cord gets to punching.
Starts the punching. Punch. And the brothers are like, you guys know what happens when Cord starts punching. They're like, maybe we ought to put him down with a bullet.
Well, wait. So then Ephraim has Anne.
Yeah, so Ephraim's got Anne. Anne wants to intervene. Anne's wanting to go over there before Cord murders somebody.
Well, no. Or gets murdered, because we didn't tell them there are now 4 dudes.
Well, okay. So already Anne wants to run in and do something about this situation.
Then
she overhears one of the brothers say, we might have to use the gun on him or something to that effect.
Yeah, they get out the rifle and they start like dusting it off.
Yeah.
So that they
and so it's like putting it together. So it's like screw in this barrel, bayonet. Like that
hand me
would
the
be
musket
great.
Ball.
Yeah, exactly. No, but
he starts
so they get out
it in.
their rifle, so she assumes that they're gonna shoot him.
Yeah.
But really, what they're gonna do is they're just gonna like
thwack him
with the butt.
Yeah, they're gonna thwack him real good.
But
so anyway, so she flips and she's like, "You will not murder my husband. I have started to like him recently. God damn it!"
Yes.
And so she kicks Ephraim in the balls.
Yes.
She calls it a light tap though. Later, she's just like, "I just tapped him, but it
worked
like a charm, just like you said."
Yeah.
So Ephraim goes down and she goes in. Meanwhile, two guys have like broken arms. One guy has like a crushed knee.
Yes.
Like it is serious business.
Alex Mack. Two are already liquefied.
Yes. Cord is going for dismemberment if he possibly can.
He's like Wreck-It Ralph on these guys.
He really is. Yeah. So she steps in and she grabs him and he whirls around with his fist cocked like it's another dude. And then he's like, Anne, like, what are you doing out here? And she's like, I'm
coming
saving
out of his
you.
haze, his punching haze.
Yes.
What?
She's
Where
like,
was
I'm saving you
what
because
happened?
these fuckers are going to shoot you with a rifle and I'm not going to have it. So
and he's like, no.
So he grabs her by the arm and he huffs off and she's like, you're hurting me. Let me go. And he keeps like grabbing her and she's like, seriously though, you can ask me nicely to go somewhere and I will go wherever you want. But like, stop manhandling me.
Yeah.
And so he does.
Kind of. It's very one of those, like, okay, well, will you get on the fucking horse so we can get the fuck out of here before I get arrested or murdered? And she's like, I will.
Yes,
Thank you.
I think I will.
He just says something about getting her, like, loud, mouthy ass on that horse or something like that. It's something very similar to that.
Mm-hmm. So they go back to Ephraim and Martha's house in town, and she takes him into a room, and she's like, you need to get stitched up because the cut on his face is reopened. Like, he's just a mess. And she's going off about his family. She's like, your useless family wouldn't even step in and help you. Your brothers were just content to watch you either beat the fuck out of 4 men or die. Like, what is the matter with your family? And he's like, well, I mean, that's just sort of how they are.
But also, like, she should talk. Her family just had her kidnapped. Whatever.
Well, she doesn't know that.
I know, but, like, still, like, stop judging families, Anne. Yours real fucked up, too.
I know. So then they come in, and everybody hears, obviously, her bellowing. And this is where, Aaron, you herbsed it, so I'll tell you. He grabs her up, and he starts kissing on her face, and on her cheek, and on her neck.
Oh, how dare you! I herbsed it, and I went back for the first time in the history of this podcast. Yep. Later on, in the next chapter, she says, I wish he would kiss me like he kissed me after that time where he punched all those guys. And I was like, and I flipped backwards in a book for the first time in history, and I unherbsed it.
I know.
So I weeded those herbs out of that chapter, and I looked at all the words in it.
You did.
So don't act like you're telling me about this kiss for the first time. Anyway,
and they were really
scoops
good.
Her up into his arms.
Yeah,
kisses her real good to stop her bellowing.
Yeah, and they're like light caresses, and he's got his hands on her, and she's like, "Oh," she actually says, "Oh, that's nice," because he's never done anything like this before.
No. He's like kissing her neck and stuff. It's real good.
Yeah. And so then everybody out in the hallway like immediately assumes that he has stopped her by putting his hand over her mouth or hitting her or doing something that
straight
is
murder. They think
straight up murder.
Straight murder.
So anyway, she disabuses them of that notion. And so she's just like, well, why don't you give me a gun? Like, they came after me. Nobody will hang me if I shoot them in self-defense. Like, it's a whole thing. And Ephraim is still real salty about the kick to the nards. Oh, and the sheriff is like, why the fuck did you, like, why did you have to keep punching? Why did you have to not stop
sorry
punching?
That this joke is so old, but it's so pervasive in this book. It's like Gordon just keeps punching.
That's what they say. He's just like, why did you not stop until they were basically debilitated? And first he's like, it's just my experience. My experience is that the couple of times I left guys to where they could walk and talk again, they, like, one shot me in the back. So I'm not doing that ever again. And then the sheriff is like, well, he says something else. And Court looks at him and he goes, they should have kept their hands off my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the sheriff is like, you're the scariest guy in the whole wide world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, like a week after the fight, this is where Erin had to go back because she's thinking to herself, wow, I really like the way he kissed and caressed me.
Yeah.
And I want him to do it again, but I can't ask him to do it again.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to do that.
That wouldn't be ladylike.
Right. I don't know how to navigate this.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys, because she's out in the barn. She's giving sugar to another horse.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I read this scene before I went back and unerbs the other scene because you don't stop reading this scene.
No.
Just read anything else in the world. This
Never.
is the scene you want to read.
Yeah. Chapter 24, you guys. It
24.
gets hot and heavy.
The first 23, I was a little worried about this book. So I'm like, it's fine, it's Lonesome Dove or whatever, but I'm a little worried that this is the sex that's in the book.
Mm-hmm.
No. 24 turns up the heat.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So he comes up behind her and he's like kissing up on her neck. And then she turns around really excited and he gives her a real kiss on the lips and there's some tongue. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is what heaven feels like. And he's staring deep into her eyes because he can't ask consent with words, but he will get it in his own way. And so he's staring deep into her eyes and he backs her up slowly into a freshly made stall that's all clean with clean straw. And he goes to lay her down to get to the good stuff. And all of a sudden she looks over and she sees a giant spider. Or
coming
maybe
her
it was
way.
A small spider. It was a spider nonetheless. It is coming at her face. And so she flips and she's like, let go of me, let go of me, let go of me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Get up, get up, get up, get up.
And he immediately, because of all of the internalized racism, is just like, I knew it. I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it. She thinks I'm repulsive. I scared her. Like, even she is scared of me. She's the only person who's not scared of me. So he starts walking away. Meanwhile, she's dusting off her whole person, trying to figure out if she calls them crawly things.
Just doesn't want any spiders.
She doesn't want anything crawly on her.
I get it.
And so then she's like, where is my husband? He should be helping me make sure there's no crawly things on me.
Are you a spider killer in your relationship, or is Michael?
Michael is mostly, yeah, Michael is.
I'm the spider killer. David every evening checks the bed for spiders. He takes all the sheets off the bed, no matter where we are. Yes.
Erin, no.
Yes. And
you don't live in Australia.
Examines the bed for spiders.
No.
And twice he has found a spider. Once was in rural Thailand, but once was in our bed. And since then, it's been like, so it's like, babe, there's no spiders in the bed. And he's like, remember that time there was a spider? And it'll never be gone from our memories, the time that there was a spider.
Man, David's widespread and eclectic constant vigilance is really something to admire.
It really is.
I think it might be like the cornerstone of his personality. It's just like
attention to detail,
vigilance.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm very I don't even want to kill spiders. I just kind of want to let them be.
Yeah.
I don't mind sleeping with a spider in the bed.
Right.
That doesn't bother me at all. But it does bother some. I understand why it would.
Food in the sheets bothers you.
Oh God, no.
But a spider.
No, it was like a little spider. I mean, if it was like a desert, spider, like a tarantula, I don't think I'd want it in there. But like,
right,
just a little spider? I'm not concerned about
a little
that.
polite spider.
Yeah. I have been bitten by a brown recluse spider, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've talked about that. But like,
I mean, I knew about it.
Yeah. So, don't live your life like me. Like, ooh, a nice little spider. Come on me.
Snuggle. Yeah. Come here, you cute little... Oh, look at this fuzzy spider. You just come right up here.
Yep.
Actually, Erin, I bet you've eaten double the amount of spiders normal people eat.
I may have, but I was once told that a spider is my spirit animal, as long as we're talking about Native American magic.
And cultural appropriation.
And cultural appropriation. Yes.
Yep.
So, maybe. Anyway.
Right. Okay, so back to it. So he is going to get on a horse and ride as far away as he possibly can because he cannot handle it. And he's thinking to himself, she never has to deal with this again. I will never touch her. Like, this poor thing. How is she faked it for so long? She never seemed like this when we were in bed in the dark. Like, how could I have missed this?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, she's like, oh man, I got to go get my dick. Like, where to go? You gotta come dick me real good.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, I was about to get dicked.
Jeez.
I took a little hiatus here to go back to the other chapter, read that, now I'm back.
Now you're back.
Yeah.
So she comes out to the corral and she's like, oh my gosh, where did you go? Like, I need to blah, blah, blah. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'll never touch you again. It's okay. And she's like, no, it is most certainly not okay. Like, talk to me. I need to explain what happened just now. And he's like, nope.
Nope.
I'm bottling.
Words hard for a cord. Nope.
Can't do it.
Yep.
And so she decides to go full berserker and just starts pounding on his back, being like, you talk to me, burp, burp, burp. And he turns around and he really sexily pushes her up against the fence and he makes his body go flush against hers and he puts his leg between her legs and he's like, woman, stop hitting me. Yeah. And she looks at him and he's like thinking she's going to be really scared, but she just looks at him with this sultry, really cute smile. Yeah. And she goes, it was a spider. He's like, wait, what? And like, she watches him recalibrate his brain. And she's like, there was a spider. It's the only thing I'm afraid of. I needed you to kill it for me. And you walked away like you weren't even there to help. And he's like, wait, so you're not completely repulsed by me? And she's like, not at all. No. And so he kisses her real good and they're kissing and they're smooching. And she's pushing her boobs up on him. And she's doing a shimmy, a Dr. Quinn times shimmy.
Yes.
And then he breaks off the kiss and he's like, well, I saddled this horse. I better go ride him. And gets on the horse and fucks off. Yeah.
And she's like, I saddled this horse and I wanted to ride him. Done a lot of work here.
I have been saddling you for 6 fucking months and I wanted to ride you. So he rides off and he spends a good 4 hours reflecting on the fact that he's fallen into a terrible situation. He is in fact in love with his wife.
Oh no.
And while he's gone, she's like feeling rejected and crying because she doesn't understand how they could do such nice kissing and then he just give up like that.
Yeah.
But then, oh man, a couple of days goes by. A couple of days. I don't understand these people on a lot of levels, but this is one of the times where I'm like, you just made out. All these things happen.
There's so much work to do on the ranch.
You know what? Yeah, it's true. There are so many cows to be milked, lest they explode.
They're probably not even really... They could go poop. Poop. I don't know why I said poop. Poop.
I mean, they also do that.
Could you edit that out?
No. No, I will not. Okay, so a couple of days goes by. And all of a sudden, she looks up while she's cutting bread. And he's looking at her from across the room. And this is one of my favorite lines from the book. She goes, do you know that every time you look at me like that, you erase the hurt of at least 100 times someone said I wasn't ladylike enough? You make me feel so female. I think that must be the way a hungry wolf looks at a lamb. And it is on.
TM on chapter 26 or so. 4. It's still 24?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, guys, buckle in. It's a 4-hour podcast today.
It is. Yep. So he crosses the room and he's got this look in his eyes.
A wolfish one. It's my favorite kind.
Yeah. Werves. He's got the eyes of a werve. And he backs her up against the table, and then he kisses her real good, and they just go to town. Mm-hmm. He's kissing all up on her. He gets her boobs out. Mm-hmm. And this is where they finally, 6 months later, clear up the miscommunication that when she pulled away when his mouth was on her nipple, mm-hmm. she didn't mean to stop. She actually says, "Oh, please, I never meant to, please." Mm-hmm. And then he understands and he goes to town on her boob.
Yeah.
And she's just loving it. And then she can't get his cock out fast enough. And oh man. And so she thinks to herself that she can't believe the disembodied grunting, howling deliciousness that she realizes is coming out of her mouth.
And guys, this is so good because you've been through 200 pages of these people already and getting to know them, and it's so satisfying when it happens. It's so good when it all clicks into place for everybody. Oof, good.
Mm-hmm. It is so nice. Because we've heard the whole time from his perspective how hot he thinks she is. Mm-hmm. We've heard from her perspective, and now it's all coming together. Mm-hmm. Literally. They come together.
Yes.
And then he looks at her and he goes, "What do you think about that, lamb chop?"
Uh-huh.
And it's real yummy. And that's after she's so right after her orgasm, she's like, "Oh my God, is he going to judge me for being a wanton trollop because I enjoyed sex?" And then he looks at her and calls her lamb chop.
I love the word trollop. I just love it.
I do too. Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. And then she realizes that she's in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
It is beautiful. Oh, but she does think to herself, it's okay if he never loves me back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she's like, it's basically impossible for him to love me. It's okay. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Yeah, she's fine with what they've got. Mutual respect and good sex.
And partnership. Okay, so then they start having dinner with his family's house after church every Sunday. Mm-hmm. She's not super into it because she doesn't really like his family and the way they treat him, but she does it because he likes being with his family, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And then people start coming around the house to ask about buying horses, and they're selling more horses than they ever thought he could. And then a real posh lady comes and she deigns to give them her presents.
Mm-hmm. God, what's her name? It's something stupid.
Virginia Stone.
Yeah, stupid. Sorry if any of you listeners are named Virginia Stone.
Yeah, sorry guys.
I like the name Virginia.
Me too. Yeah. So she comes and asks, she's got this beautiful red thoroughbred, and she wants him to train him because everybody else has tried, and her last resort is that Indian magic everybody talks about.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It's this beautiful horse, but once he gets to biting,
man, he's gonna take you through that fence.
Yeah. He bites, he kicks, he bucks.
Oh, yeah, he does everything. He's just real mean.
And when they bought him, he wasn't like that. He just got that way when they took him home.
Yeah, and Cord figures out, long story short, when he sees the look on Anne's face, because Virginia's like, we're either going to have to fix this horse enough so I can sell him, or my husband's going to shoot him. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, he looks over at Anne, and he's like, God bless America. I got to do this for
She's
Anne.
Like, whimper.
Yeah.
They're going to shoot him, Cord.
It's really cute.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, he figures out that the breeders probably dosed him to, gave him a sedative before she came out to look at him, and it's a whole thing. And then they go out to the house. Again, a crowd shows up to see that either Cord fails or goes through a fence. And people are placing bets on whether or not he'll succeed. So Anne's like, you know what? I had $20 when I left my house. I want you to go bet this $20 that he rides that horse real good. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, I wouldn't do that. And she's like, I believe in Cord. You go bet this right now.
Right.
So he does. It's a whole, they do this whole punching montage. Shockingly, when he punches the horse, he does stop. Weird.
I'm sorry, I never even thought about how he punched the horse.
He did. Yeah, every time the horse comes at him, he turns around and punches it right in the snoot. He snoot boops him.
It's a punching montage.
gonna train this red thoroughbred.
Boop it.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta boop it right on the snoot.
Boop them.
Okay. Okay, so then he ends up using a bit of his because they're using a really, really harsh bit that's not good. And he rides this horse all over the place. He basically makes it like do a dressage dance in front of everybody. It's changing leads. It's doing spins. It's just being amazing. So she's like, the Virginia is like, I need you to take the horse.
Why the Virginia? Is it like the Morrigan?
Oh, no.
The Virginia.
I didn't mean it like that. Yeah,
the melody. The Errington.
The Errington. So Virginia is like, will you take the horse and train it for the next 2 months so that I can sell it? And they do this barter system where he can breed the horse with a couple of his mares. Mm-hmm. So anyway, long story short, Virginia and her husband try to change up the deal, and there's this crazy race in town.
Horse race.
It's a horse race, yeah. And it's like an off-road, it's like a extreme horse race.
Extreme horse racing.
It is.
Basically.
It's like 5 miles. They go through a creek bed. They go through all these things. There are branches. There are brambles.
Yeah. And it's notorious for murdering up horses. This horse race, you're going to die if you're a horse, basically. Right. The horse that doesn't die wins the horse race, basically.
That's the one. Yeah, that one is the champion.
Yeah. And Cord doesn't like it at all because of how all the horses get dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're both like, absolutely not. Like, get the fuck out of here. And Virginia's like, well, fine then. I'm going to need the horse back. And they're like, fine, good, great. Mm-hmm. So Cord has left at this point because he didn't want to say anything terrible to Virginia Stone. Rob is there, and he's like, Anne, I can't believe that you would talk to a real lady like that. Like, you really need somebody to teach you some manners. Mm-hmm. And, oh, boy. So then Cord steps in, and he's like, I hope you're not the person who thinks he's going to teach her some manners. And Rob, like, backs up a little bit, and then he looks at Anne, and he goes, hey, Anne, I'd like you to wait out in the barn for me. Mm-hmm. Your brother and I are going to have a talk. And she doesn't say a word. She just turns around and stomps out. Mm-hmm. So then Cord is like, here's the thing you need to know. I'm sure the sheriff told you about all the things that he knew about, but he never saw the bulk of Anne's injuries. Mm-hmm. And so in front of Rob, in front of her mom, in front of his whole family, he's just like, here is what happened. He tells about the bite marks. He tells about the scar she has from the knife that goes
the
from
day
her
that they were married. Everything that happened that day. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he ends with, fact is, she found all those tea and crumpet lady manners didn't spare her a lot of misery she didn't deserve, and they wouldn't have kept her or me alive. Mm-hmm. So she threw them all away, and if she doesn't fit some idea you have of how she should act anymore, that's too damn bad. If she wants to yell and curse or jump up and down or do anything else, she earned the right. Mm-hmm. And you've earned nothing. Absolutely nothing. So keep your mouth shut around her, or I'll shut it for you.
Cord.
Just swoon.
Yeah.
And so then he goes out to the barn and snuggles her and apologizes for leaving her in the thick of things. Uh-huh. And it is just lovely. Okay.
Good stuff. We gotta get going.
Yeah, we do.
All right, so he does... Here, I'm gonna herbs it for you guys.
Do it, please.
Cord does the horse race. All right?
Yeah.
So they want him to do the horse race. First he's like, no. Then he's like, okay. So he does like training montage of the horse race. And so he's figured out a way to do his horse where he like does a shortcut, but it's still like kind of within the rules.
It is absolutely
so he
in the rules.
Run the horse too hard, and he doesn't put it in danger. And it does these like crazy jumps, and he's the horseman of our times. It's crazy. He's the best horseman of the Dr. Quinn. And and he wins the horse race. But then they're like, he cheated. And then they're like, no, he didn't. And Elphaba helps him out because he's a lawyer, and he's like, no, these is rules, and I know rules because I'm a lawyer. And then he does win, and
they win $1,000.
Yeah, so Anne put down money that he would win, and the odds were 20 to 1 or 1 to 20. I don't know how the odds work, but it was 20 times what she bet. She got it, and so she got like $2,000, and he got the prize money. So they go and they buy the horse off of the lady.
Yeah.
And now that's their horse. It doesn't really matter except for it was a very cinematic horse race scene that I enjoyed reading even though it had nothing to do with romance. So if I enjoyed reading it, you're not going to want to herbs it. It's a good scene.
Yeah, and it's very much like showing their teamwork. It's very much showing their partnership.
Yeah,
it's also that
she helped train the horse up and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. He hates when she bets money that is hers because in his brain, he's still like, she's going to need that when she leaves me.
Right.
And she's always like, I'll throw this money away. I'll light it on fire because I'm never going to leave you.
Right.
And so the fact that she wanted to use all the money she won to buy this horse with him in like sort of a joint venture is a cool thing too.
Yeah. Because when she wins all the money, he's like, well, now you can go even further than Chicago. You could go to Paris if you wanted to. And she was like, get rid of this money so he'll stop saying that stuff. And so they do. And now she no longer has her money. It's their money. It's their horse. That kind of thing.
And they got to buy the horse out from under that breeder who fucked him over and
that other breeder was interested. Yep.
Yeah. So
okay.
Fuck you.
So now she's pregnant.
Whoa.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll just do a tiny bit of herbsing. Okay. Because there's a post-race dance that's really good. They dance.
Oh, yeah. They do a dance. That's very nice. Yeah. They dance outside because they're worried about the riding. Because he doesn't want to dance in front of people. Oh, it's nice. He's a good dancer.
Yeah. And then they go back to their brother's house because the whole family is sleeping there.
They're real horned up after the dancing.
They're so horny. Well, and after the adrenaline in the race and then the hot
whole
dancing
thing. And she
outside,
saw him do that race and she's like, all turned on, all kinds of it.
I mean,
and then
she's been wet for hours, Erin.
And then they have him sleep in the living room and her sleep with the two girls in another room.
Yeah.
So she
sneaks down.
Naked.
And they have some hot, like sort of frantic, quiet, awesome, just like shake the house down, but quiet like sex. And she falls asleep in his arms and he doesn't want them to get caught. And so he carries her upstairs. And that's when the sister-in-law, who's terrified of him, sees him do that. And he's real worried she's going to scream the house down. But she's just like, oh, I think that like he loves her.
Tucks her in.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't have skipped that.
It's
now,
romance.
She's pregnant.
No, not yet.
Come on, melody.
Sorry. So then they have to hay. They spend a month haying.
Oh,
and
yeah, there's
he
haying.
lets her help.
Yeah.
Right. And so he lets her help. They get a metric fuck ton of haying done, like way more than anybody could ever do by themselves.
All their extra hay.
Yeah, and they're going to make that money together. Yeah. And then afterwards, they like camp on their property for a week. She starts just getting totally naked in the sunlight in front of him and like strutting around and being gorgeous and living in her skin in only a way a woman who loves herself can.
She's riding him astride. It's good stuff.
Man, they're having some hot sex and she's doing some excellent self-love. And then she's pregnant.
No, now she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So she finds it out and she's like, oh no, she knows Cord is not going to like this. Also, when he got beat to shit on their wedding day, the doctor told him that his penis was broken or like his balls was broken.
Everything
or something was broken
real messed
in
up.
there, and like because of it, he wasn't going to be able to have kids. So she tells him, and he gets real mad, 50 Shades of Grey style.
Yeah,
he just like but he has reasons in a way that Christian Grey did not.
In his brain, he's like, "Oh no, I trapped her. I didn't want to trap her. The whole thing was I didn't want to trap her, and now she's trapped."
Now I thought
I couldn't have kids.
So now when she figures out that this life is too hard for her, she's not going to be able to leave. That sucks. Yeah. Also, she's going to be the mother of a mixed race child, and the child is never going to be treated well. So he's like, I'm going to have a child that's going to be treated like me in this town. I never wanted that. And that's going to break her heart every single day because she doesn't understand. She does not understand what it's going to mean to be pregnant with this child and to have carry this child around in town and have people yell obscenities at her and that.
Yeah, because privilege.
Right.
Her poor Quappa baby.
Yeah, and so he's mad about it. She's deeply upset that he's so mad about it because she just wants him to be happy because she's very happy.
She's over the moon. So then they go to dinner again, a Sunday night dinner.
Yeah, in the middle of this horrible fight.
And she's ecstatic. Yeah. And she's like trying to get everybody else on board. And so she tells everybody, and her brother flies off the handle.
Loses
and he's
his shit.
like, yeah, he actually says something to the effect of, do you want like that kind of baby sucking on your tit or something like that?
It was horrible.
And I love this though. The only reason I bring it up is because she claps back and she's like, I love having that guy make me scream with pleasure sucking on my tits, so I don't think I'll mind having his child do the same thing. And like storms out.
Yeah, which is rough, but
hilarious.
Whatever. And so she storms out. She goes to the barn and she's sobbing in the barn. Yeah. I don't remember if he told the brother off or he gave him a stony look and stormed off, but he did his own little clap back in there. And then maybe a silent one. And he goes
to comfort her.
And he goes to comfort her in the barn.
And his sister-in-law tells Rob and her mom that they are never allowed welcome. Back in her house unless they fix this nonsense.
Right. And they don't.
They don't. So she's sobbing in the barn.
Yeah.
And he goes out and he takes her in his arms. And it is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. She clings to him when the sister comes out.
Yeah, and she sees them. And then later on, when the brothers are being stupid again, she's talking to her other sister-in-law. And she's like, you know what? I watched them out there. And it was like two people sharing a burden. Mm-hmm. It was two people
she
in
said
love.
That she was clinging to him in the way that she clung to her husband when she lost a baby.
Yes.
And she saw the same thing. And she's like, they've got to be in love. There's no other way that people hold each other like that. It's beautiful.
And then Judith tells her about the sneaky night where she saw him tuck her in. Uh-huh. And they're both like, I think there's a lot more going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So mustache twirling.
Twirling has been happening all in the background.
Yeah.
He's like, we can't come at him from the front. We just have to make Cord believe that Anne left him. That's what we have to make him believe.
So one day, Fiyero Frank, the brother.
That's the one.
One of them comes over and is like, hey, Cord, you want to go to town with me?
And this is like a monumental thing.
Yeah. It's the middle of winter. I'm going to town. No one else can do it because of reasons that I'm making up right now. Would you like to spend the day with me in town? Big deal.
Yeah.
Never happened before.
Olive branch.
I was fucking terrified that Frank was in on it.
Me too.
Terrified. I don't know if Ellen wanted us to think Frank was in on it, but my poor heart was very worried.
I was not okay. Yeah. No, so then when I thought that Frank was not in on it, then I was terrified that Cord was going to think Frank was in on it. You know?
Even worse. Even worse. Yeah.
Even worse. So, okay, so they go to town.
Yeah.
So then they come back. Mm-hmm. And the house is empty. And there's this letter on blue paper that says, I fucked off. I don't want to be with you anymore. Bye. And at first, so Frank is like, so today's the day, huh? Like, whoopsies. And at first, Cord is like, oh, shit. Like, sell the house, sell everything. I'm gone.
I'm out. I'm going back to Mexico or whatever. Can't stay here anymore.
Yeah, I can't live here with the ghost of my wife. I can't do it. And so Frank is like, I can't believe you would leave us again. And he's like, I mean, she's the only thing that's good in my life. So I'm going.
Yeah.
But then the wheels start turning. And he's like, hold on a minute. We don't have any blue paper. Is that her handwriting? What's going on?
Nothing's
I don't think
missing.
She would act like this. Yeah.
Her dresses are all still here. There's fresh baked bread. Or maybe it's even still baking. Maybe. Or something like that. That it's like warm. It just doesn't seem right. She knows where all the money is stashed all throughout the house. She hasn't taken
None
any
of the money's
of it.
Gone?
Like, literally nothing of hers is gone.
Yeah. So then Cord goes to town to try to figure things out.
Also,
what's up?
He had imagined Anne leaving him many times, and he believes that she might at any time, but he knows that Anne would tell him to his face.
Yes.
He knows Anne, and he knows that she would never be a coward and write it on a piece of paper. Like that.
God, they just love each other so much. So he goes to town and he steps into his parents-in-law house. It's totally dark, except Rob is sitting at a table downing as much whiskey as he possibly can.
Guys, it is raining. He is wearing one of those old-timey Western slicker raincoats that's like all the way down. And he's got his cowboy hat. And he comes into this place with his rifle, and it's like lightning strikes.
Yeah.
And he's got his hat brim down, and it's very cinematic, okay?
And he, like, materializes out of the darkness.
Yeah. And Rob's there, like, just drinking. He's waiting for him, because he knows he's going to come. When he took Anne, the dad believed that Cord would believe this lie and be like, okay,
just go with it.
Whatever, because they don't think he cares about her.
Right.
So either he was going to believe the lie or he wasn't, but he wasn't going to come for her. And Rob knows he's going to come for her. So Rob's pretty worried he's about to get murdered by Cord.
And he should be, honestly.
Yeah, valid worry.
He fucking should be. Mm-hmm. So Cord's like, there's a story to tell, so tell it. And Rob immediately, he's like, I'm so glad you're here. You have to go get her. I didn't know what to do. Like, my dad told us that he was just going to take her to Chicago and marry her off to some dude and it was going to be fine.
Yeah.
But we found out later that is not his plan. Basically, they all went out to the house. She wasn't even going to let them in. But the dad used the mom's discomfort to get inside. They attack her. They tie her up. They get her onto the carriage.
They force her to take the old-timey laudanum.
Laudanums, yeah. They opium
First she spits
her up.
In his face, but then
she does.
Makes her take it. They're going to take her to Chicago, and they're going to bribe a judge and a lawyer and stuff. And they're going to put her in the insane asylum.
Yeah, they're going to have her declared...
Her baby out.
Yeah, they're going to have her declared mentally incompetent and then do a really unsafe abortion surgery.
Yes.
And it's terrible. And Rob is like, I've never seen my sister like this. She started, throughout this whole thing, she was just spitting fire at them, saying the Cord's going to come get me. He's going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the dad mentioned that they were going to get rid of the baby, she immediately broke down, started begging. She went like almost catatonic. Mm-hmm. And Rob says the phrase, I don't know if she's ever going to be our Anne again. Mm-hmm. And Cord is really worried.
They kind of beat her up to get her there.
Oh, they super beat her up.
Rob's I tried. And Cord's like, yeah, but I'm noticing your dad didn't have to like punch you to get to your sister because I don't see any bruises on your face. So fuck off, Rob. You're the worst.
And like they gave her laudanum and then carried her to the train. Yeah. At any point, Rob could have yelled that this was bad. This is a kidnapping, like anything. And he didn't do a goddamn
Rob could have
thing.
Gone to the sheriff in the time that he was waiting for fucking Cord to get there.
Yes.
However long that took, hours.
Oh, that fucker.
Rob.
So Cord is like, I can't get a train from our town. I have to ride to Denver, which is like many hours away. I think it's like a 16-hour ride.
Yes.
It's crazy. So he gets on his trusty horse Keeper.
This is where, somewhere on Instagram you said that there was animal abuse, and then somebody was like, no, and you're like, it's only the bad guys abusing animals. You guys,
I forgot about this.
Cord fucks up this horse. I mean, it's for reasons, but he fucks up this horse good to get to Anne.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this. He rides poor Keeper.
I didn't, but it was like our name, and I didn't want like Heaving Bosoms to reply to Heaving Bosoms to be like, no, you're wrong, because it can't be like Mel said this and Aaron said this, so it's like Heaving Bosoms. It's only the bad guys, then it would be like Heaving Bosoms again. No, it's not.
No, you totally
it's so
should
weird.
Have. They know us.
They're like, we're not going to listen to this. This is a weird podcast.
Yeah, fuck. All right. Well, I'll have to go back on Heaving Bosom's account.
Like, it's for reasons, though, but Cord fucks up this horse.
Yeah, so he rides Keeper the whole way. The poor thing, because it's through a winter storm. It's through, like, an almost blizzard. Mm-hmm. And he rides him all night to get to Denver.
It's like 16 hours.
It's really long. And he can't lift his head by the time they get to Denver. Uh-huh. And he puts him in the stall and he's like, I'm so sorry, Keeper. I'm going to come back for you, but I got to go to Chicago.
Yeah. Guess who lives in Denver? Is Marie, his sister. So he takes the horse to Marie's house and says, hey, Marie, I know I haven't seen you in years, but I need you to help me out. And she's like, no. And he's like, too bad.
Yeah.
And so the husband's like, I'll help you out. Like, come back through here on your way back and tell us whatever story this is, because it looks like to be a good one. So he goes to Chicago. So he busts up in this mansion.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're mustache twirling. They're signing papers before there's a hearing. It's like terrible. She's begging every once in a while. Oh, one of the lawyers presents the stupid, awful aunt.
You guys, this lawyer writes a memorandum for record that's like, listen, guys, I told you not to do this. I'm going to slip this in my drawer so I don't get disbarred.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is like, I'm your lawyer and you said you were going to do a bunch of illegal things. And I advised you, don't do a bunch of illegal things, and you're doing them anyway, so here's this memo.
Uh-huh.
We've all wrote them, ladies. He's gonna put it in a drawer. So they've got this memo from this lawyer, which is good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, Cord, all of a sudden, materializes in the doorway again.
Oh my god, this is cinematic times 1,000. I want to watch this movie so bad.
Me too!
Yeah.
Somebody buy the rights to this book.
Somebody make this movie.
So he shows up. He starts just punching people or something. He's got a rifle. He headbutts somebody, I think. I don't know. He butts somebody in the brain with a rifle, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think any of that is true. He goes in with a rifle. And the judge, I think it's the judge, has all the papers. So first, he gets
up
Anne.
Under his...
So first, he's
Anne
like...
flies across the room
Anne
to
goes to him. He's holding Anne.
And Leona is like, Cord, it's so good to see you.
Yeah. Leona was praying silently that Cord get there, and then he walked in. So Leona's realized the error of her ways. So Anne's behind him. He's backing out of the room with Anne, and then he's like, hey, judge, I want those papers. And the judge's like,
what's up under your
you're
vest?
not going to get these papers. And he's like, I'm going to shoot you. And so the judge is like, here's the papers. Then Cord walks up to him with the rifle and like puts the rifle under the guy's like vest and like pushes it up and finds more papers in his breast pocket. And he's like, those two.
Give me those two. Give me them all.
It was great because he was like Muppet texting kind of because he was like, give
just, like,
me papers. It was great. And then he gets all those papers and he gets her.
They go straight to the train station.
To Denver. And this is Anne's not well.
No, he is so worried about her because she is just clinging to him. She won't stop shaking.
She won't sleep. She won't eat.
She's like a husk of a person. And he starts thinking about Rob's warning, being like, oh my God, I may never get my Anne back.
But that was fine with him. He's like, I will nurse this ghost for the rest of my days.
I'll take whatever Anne I can get.
Yeah.
So he takes her back to Marie's house. He takes her upstairs to the bathroom, gives her a bath. Oh, at one point, somebody overhears him say that if you don't stay right there, I'm going to hog tie you. And of course, they think the worst, but it doesn't matter.
Damn it. It's like,
I know.
Fuck.
I know. So they have this talk in the bedroom, finally. They're laying there together. And she's like, I begged him. Like, I basically prostrated myself in front of him and I begged him to spare the baby. And I don't know how to reconcile that. And he says to her, he goes, well, the day we got married, the only reason I agreed to marry you was because they threatened all the animals. But there was no scenario in which I would have begged them for anything. They could have shot everything in a 5-mile radius and I would not have begged them. But now, if anybody threatened you or the baby, I would beg for everything. I would beg immediately. You are not weak for begging. Like, oh God, I'm crying right now. It's so sweet.
And then they talk about the 3 times that he met her growing up.
Yeah.
And so, like, the first time he ever met Anne, you guys, Cord has been in love with Anne since he was a child. And there was a time, so Cord and Marie went to regular school for a smidge, and they were mean to Marie.
They were getting
there was
super
a girl
bullied.
beating up Marie or like being mean to her, but Cord couldn't do anything about it because she was a girl and he knew he wasn't supposed to hit girls. But like Anne got in there and was like, "Bitch!"
and grabbed her by the pigtails.
Yeah, and then Cord was like obsessed with Anne after that. And then another time he ran into her and she dropped all her packages and she fell on the ground and he thought,
and she fell backwards.
Yeah, and
her
like,
dress came up.
Damn, she's hot. Look at those ankles. And then he expected her to like scream and stuff, but instead she was like, "Oh, blah blah blah, it's fine."
Why don't you walk me home?
Yeah, and he carried her parcels, but like a few steps behind her, but it was still a scandal.
Yeah,
I think there was a third time, but I don't remember. Anyway, the whole thing. He's been so in love with Anne, and then Marie's like, I don't know how you rigged this that you got to marry Anne, the girl you've been in love with since we were kids, but like
So basically the next morning she's back to her old self because she reconnected with him and because they supported each other and because, you know, he validated her choices and it was just magical. And then a bunch of other shit happens. Basically, everybody lives happily ever after. The dad. Oh, sorry. Marie's husband is a lawyer. And he's like, you got papers, ? Let me see papers. And basically, they send a telegram down to Chicago way being like, don't press any charges because if so, we will get all of you arrested for all the illegal things you were doing. The dad won't give it up. Everybody's like, you have to give it up. And so instead, he shoots himself.
Yeah, dad is dead. Because they were like, you know, as long as I'm not going to kill, Cord's like, I'm not going to kill him because I'm not going to explain to my grandbaby why I killed his or her grandfather. So, And as long as he's alive, we've got to be on the run. We've got to go to like a Dakota. Oof.
Yeah.
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 And so it's a real good thing that he murdered himself.
Yeah, so now they get to stay.
So then they get to stay.
They get to keep Red, the thoroughbred horse that they love. She nurses Keeper back to health.
Gives him some sugars.
She gives him some sugars and some snuggles.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man. She's like, he was so confused. You rode him to death and then you abandoned him.
In this strange
Yeah.
place.
Poor guy.
Gosh.
You are loved, Keeper. You are loved.
Gosh.
So, man, everything works out. And then it ends with her being super duper duper pregnant. And they go to a Valentine's Day dance where he dances with her in front of everybody. And a lot of people leave the dance floor being scandalized.
But the people who matter don't.
Oh, but the people who matter all come out and dance with them in solidarity. And then I'm sure she has that baby, and it's the most beautiful baby with the most beautiful cheekbones.
Because she wanted the baby to look like Marie, and Marie is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Has the most beautiful cheekbones.
And there's also some family redemption. There's a marshal who comes out because he has not gotten the old-timey memo about the charges being dropped.
Oh, yeah.
And the Bennetts hide Cord, and they're
Frank
like,
and
nope.
Elphaba.
Yeah, Fiyero actually holds a gun on the marshal, and he's like, you're not taking my brother.
Yeah.
And it's a whole thing. And then they have another Christmas together. But really, it's Valentine's Day, and everyone who matters dances. The end!
The end!
I loved this book so much.
I loved it. And honestly, for the first 23 chapters, I was like, oof, this is worried. A slog. And it is a slog, but it's a worthwhile slog. It really is.
And it's a slog that makes sense. It's not like a slog to the reading experience. I enjoyed reading all of it, but I was just like, but romance ?
Yeah.
Like, did I don't know.
But I also love Westerns. Though.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I grew up watching Westerns with my dad, and I don't know, there was a part of it that was very nostalgic to me for old-timey. I shouldn't say old-timey, but Clint Eastwood
Dr.
era.
Quinn times.
Yeah, Dr. Quinn times and those sorts of things. I probably watched True Grit 50 times with my dad growing up.
Oh.
So I don't know. I think
nothing for it.
Yeah, if that time period appeals to you, you're gonna like this book.
You are. And there's a novella that's all about her friend Rachel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Does Rachel get an HEA?
I think so. I hope so. I hope she finds somebody who dicks her real good.
Yeah. But also, Ellen O'Connell, who wrote this book, is a horse person in real
horse trainer.
life. So if you're a horse person and you're worried that it's not going to be accurate, there's a lot of good horse stuff in here, and she knows her stuff, it seems like. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I really like the writing style.
Yeah.
It felt like a Western the whole time.
Yeah,
it was really
just
nice.
Very good. Very good book.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Erin, do you have a lady love?
Yes.
Tell me everything.
My lady love is going to be the Chris Pine Mountain Lodge Yankee Candle. It's been burning this whole time. It's very potent. Some HBs feel that it is too potent, and it smells like concentrated cologne, just poured all over your face.
Oh, Allie.
Is that Allie? I couldn't remember who it was. Yeah, Allie said that.
Yeah, that was a great phrase.
But others say that it's like being inside the mountain lodge of your dreams with Chris Pine.
With Chris Evans.
The picture on the front is a pine tree, which I feel like is a clue.
I don't give a fuck.
That you don't have to be a sleuth to find it's a very big pine tree on the front.
That you need. No, it's definitely a clue that you need the burliest yet most feminist mountain man you can possibly
get. That's Chris Pine.
That's
Chris
man
Pine.
is
That's Chris
Chris
Pine.
Evans.
That's Chris Pine.
Chris Pine is not burly. I'm sorry, he's not. So there.
So just snuggle up with a good romance novel and this candle, or maybe this isn't the candle for you. Maybe you need a balsam or something like that. But get you a candle that smells like the man in the novel, because that's a
Chris Evans.
Good. That's a good. Yeah, it's a good thing to do. Okay. All right.
Yep. All right. Mine. Okay. I've been having so many face issues this winter. I think it's because I'm breastfeeding. I cannot keep moisture in my body. And so my face has been scaly and awful, and I've just been feeling terrible about it. Yes. I am drinking. I have a 24-ounce bottle in front of you. I am drinking between 6 and 8 of these a day.
It's not enough.
I don't understand that universe. Okay? So, that is a metric fuck ton of water.
Yes.
But I just got a sample that I am in love with, and I've now ordered the day and the night cream because it fixed my face in a day and a half. It was crazy. I wore it overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I wore the Burt's Bees Intense Hydration with Clary Sage. It smells amazing.
I know it.
Oh, Erin,
pump.
you've been holding out on me.
Never did anything for me. I need a thick.
Oh.
I need something that like I have to scoop out of a thing.
This is that. I have
it's not thick enough for me.
Wow, I have to rub it in because it looks like sunscreen.
Yeah, I've used it before.
Thicker than
it
that.
wasn't enough for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next winter I'll get at you with what you use because I think it might be too thick for the summer, but I'm stocking up on it now just so I can, keep hydrated for the emergency times.
Most of what I use on my face is like not for faces, it's for bodies. Honestly.
Is it for feet?
I've used things for feet.
Those are the best. Yeah, those are the best.
I've also used a lot of salves on my face instead of lotions that are just very, very oily.
Right.
But it's necessary. The Arctic wind.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's my lady love.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can find us on all of the places.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us on Twitter at heaving_bosoms, on Gmail, heavingbosomespodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Instagram is at heavingbosoms. Facebook is Heaving Bosoms Podcast. And then we have the Geriatric Friendship Cult, which is our closed group. And that's where you can find all of the delightful videos that we mentioned.
And we have a Patreon if you want to hear more banter.
Oh, yeah.
If you're all about the banter, that's all it is. It's just us being like, so what did you do today? We don't know what to talk about on this.
That's not true, Erin. There's also stuff that people who don't like banter will like.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
They're
we also
usually
do some
interesting
extra. We've
stories.
done a few extra books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Patreon is really awesome. I love doing... Oh, there's also a bunch of bonus videos now.
Yes.
You can hear about some blunders from my life that are just in real time. I posted a video of Michael ranting about the Toy Story franchise in case you were curious about what that looks like. It's brilliant. Yeah, so there's a bunch of shit on there. I will send you stickers. It's great. That is patreon.com/heavingbosoms.
Yep.
And we adore you.
Yes.
So much.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what we don't ever say is we have merch.
Oh my God, we also have merch.
We never say that we have merch. We have merch and it's like designed by an artist.
An HB artist.
An independent artist who's an HB.
Mm-hmm.
And you should go get our merch. It's on Redbubble.
It's on Redbubble. The artist's name is Rachel Ross. She is brilliant to work with as far as like commissions and stuff are concerned. She's amazing. The art she did is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of our slogans. There's Bing Boom Bong. There's Herbs, Herbs, Herbs. There's different depictions of Erin and I.
Yes.
With our differing segments.
Yes.
Although I haven't done a TMI with Melody in a while.
No.
I think every bit of my banter is just TMI with Melody.
Yeah, now that has become the whole podcast.
Yeah, I've just
the whole
stopped
podcast has become TMI with
it.
Melody and logistics with Erin.
Fair.
Also, I think this is going to come out the weekend before KissCon in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, just so you guys know, if you're Chicagoans or if you're already planning on going to KissCon and you're not in the Geriatric Friendship Cult, I'm going to be at KissCon just as a...
I'm so excited for you.
So I'm going to be at KissCon. So if you guys are also going to KissCon, there's going to be like an HB get together. We're going to do a meetup and stuff. So get on the Facebook group or find me at KissCon.
Yes.
and we will link up.
I will be FaceTiming in, hopefully multiple times.
Oh, God. Melody.
All weekend.
I'm not going to have a lot of patience for this. I'm sorry.
Erin.
It's going to be like when I was in Hawaii and you kept pinging me for a tropical selfie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay, fine. Melody will be FaceTiming in.
Or I'll talk to an HB and get her number and I'll FaceTime with someone fucking else. Okay?
No, don't threaten me.
Somebody else will love me.
With
God damn it.
Don't you know that's my sore spot? No. All right, you can FaceTime me anytime you want. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hope you're patient.
Well, I just don't want to be rude because I'm going to be in all those panels, and I don't want to be like ding dong in my purse,
No. But during the meetup,
I haven't carried a purse in my entire life. I don't know why I said that ding dong in my purse, and my phone doesn't even do a ding dong. What I'm saying is, I don't need my whole shit lighting up because you're like, what's going on?
No, not during the day. I mean specifically in the meetup.
Oh, yeah. We'll put you on a tripod or something.
Yeah, I want to hang out with our friends.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. This has gone off the rails.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
1 hour, 51 minutes, and 50 seconds. We are just... Love you.
I love you too.
Bye, bye, Melody.
All right, bye. Oh, wait. What? Keeping a badass.
Do we say punch until you can't punch anymore in the last one?
No, okay. I don't think so.
All right. Go for it.
Keeping a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love getting to punching. And punch until you can't punch anymore. You just keep punching as much as you can punch until you're a puddle of Alex Mack.
That's the one.
Yep.
Oh, that much.
All right. Now let's say goodbye.
Okay. Bye, Erin.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.